We've still yet to be like, welcome to Besties Sisters Club. I'm
Oi!
your big sis, and today we're having a guest.
Yes. So all of that, pretend. Or we'll say it now and we'll put it at the front. Ready?
Okay, tell
Pretend
us
like
how.
we just came on.
Make a note of what minutes. Oh,
Okay.
here we go.
Hi.
Hi,
Welcome.
it's Besties Sisters Club. I'm your big sister, Mirror.
I'm your little sister Peach.
When we do like that, our voices will see you.
Sorry. Um, yeah.
Welcome. Have a seat. Have a snack.
Yes.
Be comfy, cozy.
Tell us what you're snacking.
How are you doing, girl? Are you okay?
How's
To
your
our
week?
besties.
Yeah.
Who do we hate? Who's our friend? What's going on?
Yeah. What are you watching? What are you eating? What are you
Yeah.
eating?
Yeah. We gathered here today to discuss the episode you will hear after we say this or before we have said this.
Probably after, or maybe we'll like have a little background music, and then you'll know that this is like a post-production snippet
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. They're probably watching it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gathered here today to discuss the episode because it was a tough day, tough to record, tough tech, and
Yeah.
then just became very inside baseball. So, I mean, references and things that probably not everyone knows, things I don't even know sometimes. So, just like here's the who's who and the what's what and the what. So, what it is.
Inside scarp.
Yeah. So, I don't know what. I mean, church. Okay. Amanda and her husband. Okay, pastor's wife, my mentor, and then what? I mean, like very she used the word and it's true for me and her codependent. It is what
Mhm.
it is.
And for me and her husband, also codependent.
Codependent.
We were the
Mhm.
favorite.
Yeah, we were like the darlings of the youth group and we went pretty ham about it. And
Yes.
so inside of that, there's like Purity Club, which is a thing that exists. Okay. And
In
then
most
trip.
churches, I would say.
A lot of times in this episode, I think we're saying like you were in Mexico when we went to Mexico. We're not on holiday. We were doing these silly little mission trips where we
Yeah.
maybe do good work, but mostly make a fool of ourselves and
Yeah.
have some saviorism.
Yes. 100% white saviorism. We
We
would
feel real
go
great
for a
about ourselves.
week
Mm-hmm.
and build a hoem, which is as rough to say hoem. It was more like a shed.
Shell. Yeah, we did not insulate, we did not plumb, we did not electricity.
A tough shed is what we built.
Yes,
With yeah, but
but we sure did mix concrete by hand, and
yeah,
that's
we did.
but then like we would just like go play in the town and then go play at the beach. And so,
Yeah, and flirt with each other. Just
come
kidding. We
on.
were having a very holy experience.
Yeah.
Always, we were.
Um,
Not everyone.
Me, Mary, the big sister, I went twice, maybe thrice
Yeah,
to
I
just
always
the
assumed
home.
that you were always there.
I wasn't because I move away. And that's
Yeah.
when y'all went on a different trip, a different mission, because y'all did orphanage and
Yeah.
jail, which was referenced in the pod.
Right. So the thing about jail is that we went to, so Amanda and her husband coordinated all of these trips in the beginning, but then at a certain point in time, they moved their asses to Mexico to be hardcore missionaries in Mexico. And so then we went to stay with them on this last one, this
In their
last
home?
mission trip. Yeah, in their home. And I think, no, not in their home. They like coordinated a place for us to stay. And then we went and worked on an orphanage, and we went and did a prison ministry, which was really just like we sat and spoke with, listened to the people who were there. We had like a couple of
Yikes.
people in our group who could speak Spanish, and so they kind of talked, with the
Yeah.
folks. But there was like a women's wing of the prison and a men's wing, and so we split up. And so the boys went and the girls went. And when we came out, all the boys didn't have their shoes because they had given them up to the people in the prison. And so, like, I think what's important to know is that we like really had a desire to be radical in our religion, at our church,
Yeah. I
like
don't know. I mean,
fiction.
radical to me is a word that kind of feels like fundamentalist, which we were not, because,
Yeah.
like we're cussing and fussing and kissing and pissing,
That's
like we're not in a prairie skirt. I
No,
want to be
we were
clear.
progressive, radically progressive, I
That's
feel.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
To be very
We were
clear.
like, we, especially because of Amanda and her husband, we were like taught to be, like
Yeah.
self-sacrificing and like,
A Jesus with skin on, people would say
yeah,
sometimes, which is like weird. Okay.
gross.
But but that was for real. And like, yeah.
So like maybe there were boys in that group that did not want to give up their shoes, but I'm sure there was not an
When
option.
one fucking starts, then you don't want to be the one fucking dick who's like, no,
Right.
my mom bought these shoes. You know?
Right. Yeah. We should have asked Ben about that.
Yeah, maybe we will. And then, okay, that's that on that. I
Yeah.
mean, we maybe talk about it pretty flippantly because we don't feel all these ways now, but it was genuine and sincere. And like when I say like I was ham about God, like I'm not joking. Like
No.
I was like for real deal, not a joke, not a what is that called? Unironically
Yeah. Both of
like
us.
into it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. We were like,
So
for real, very tough on ourselves.
yeah.
You were like up at before the sun.
Yeah.
You were like having Bible study with old people.
Yeah. One on onesies. I was being
Yeah.
mentored left and right.
Yeah. And then like you were mentoring. I feel
Was I?
you were like a leader of I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you did hang out with old people a lot. I
I,
didn't do that. I didn't go that far.
I've always
Yeah.
loved an old people.
Um,
And I mean, unfolded over years, like, I don't know. I mean, that's what. And then we're talking about me on MySpace, and like, that's very inside info, I guess. But like, I was very into Jesus. I went to college, and then some things started being weird for me. But I was just like blogging my ass off about it, and really
yeah.
going through like normal adjustments and normal depressions and normal like who the fuck am I's that are associated with college, but I was just blogging about it. And like if I would post on my MySpace like I remember like I was in a Tom Petty phase.
Yeah.
And so I would post about, Last Dance with Mary Jane. I've never smoked pot in my
Yeah.
life still to this day, but I would get sometimes like chastised, like,
Yeah.
why are you saying that? You know?
Yeah. Well,
So, yeah.
and like I think it's important for our story too, and I don't even know if you realize, but when you started to designated drive people
Mhm.
from parties,
Mhm.
um, that was very radical. Like that was very,
Yeah. Yeah.
bold.
I wrote a whole thing about it. And I think I know my Aunt Debbie still has it. That I wrote. I wrote this thing about, Jesus would be like stepping in puke and driving people. And like I sincere, you guys. And then
Yeah,
like I wrote that and I told it at my father-in-law's church. And like I think he put it somewhere and it got published in a magazine of Christian.
really.
I don't know what magazine, but I think it was, and then there
Remember,
was like pretty like quickly became like I couldn't live in that shit anymore. I'm trying to have like this all intuitive and I guess progressive thing with Jesus, and and that is being encouraged by our mentors at that time, but then I mean it's not
yeah, it
like the
flips real
progressive
quick.
it's fucking bullshit because I wasn't allowed to have a thought or a feeling or a question that was out of line. I couldn't talk about fucking Tom Petty. And
Yeah,
so it can look progressive and intuitive, but it fucking wasn't. And then also, like, I guess, discuss, like, we did ask about these boys because then, like, the friend group, as I was leaving, the door was closing. I was about to go to college. And, like, the church that we were in was trying to be young and hip and fresh, and we
of course.
did have other people in the community because where we lived is like 3 towns smushed together pretty close, And so I guess there were, people for real like us at different churches. And then it became like a bigger community. And sometimes it's like, these boys would be great for you gals because they real
Yeah,
deal believe it, and whether
but
that's
we
said
thought.
or not said,
Yeah.
I mean, who fucking knows? But
I mean, the thing is, like, these are guys who came on these youth mission trips with us. And like, there were always like slightly older, hunky boys coming with us on these trips,
because they can do stuff. That's the thing. You
and
bring children
lift.
to build home. What the fuck?
They
You
wouldn't
need
let Ben on a fucking roof.
you need
So,
men.
yeah. Yeah. So, it's tough. That's the thing is it's like you said, the guard is down because it's a church environment, but then you're like bringing all these kids around all these adults.
But I will
Yeah,
just say,
well,
like, you thought that you just went like very hard. You were worried that you came off very aggressive
yes.
and
Well,
confrontational. And
yeah.
I hope you see when you watched it back, you said it was not great. And
Yeah,
that's like as strong of language as you used
I
as it was
know.
not great.
I know. I
So I just want you to stand in your truth.
yeah. I was not mean. And it's like good because it's obviously not anyone's fault that like I was in an awful situation with a trash guy who is too old and in my house and
Yeah.
not listening to my boundaries and gross. But um, you know, it is important for people to be aware of where their children are, who they are with, even if it's in Mexico or you know, whatever.
Yeah. And so that's how I want you to feel.
Fine.
That's the point of sharing it, is not like a specific instance,
Yes.
but it's
Yeah.
like this shit happens all the time. And then people don't talk about it all the time. And
Right.
so then nobody knows it's happening all the time,
But I
And
think that's
so,
important to say
yeah.
too, is that so this guy was my boyfriend after Mexico. Like he became my boyfriend. And so for
But he's a man, so your man boyfriend.
my man boyfriend, super old boyfriend.
Rusty
And
dusty boyfriend.
yeah, and it went on for a very long time. Like, well, I don't know actually, because the timeline makes zero
Yeah.
sense to my brain.
But for teens,
Yeah,
a
for
month
like
is a
a
long
few
time.
months,
Yeah.
you know, too
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
And over the summer when it's like no one knows where you are,
Yeah.
it took so long for me to learn from my own like brain gatekeeping me from the critical information that
Yeah.
like this is not a good situation, and like
Yeah.
it's not just like a mistake I had made, it was like
Right.
danger,
Yeah.
or Peach.
Yeah.
So watch out.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
I
And
guess.
that's what too, the point of these stories also, we had my, boyfriend from high school on, and this boy this man who's trash, and all the boys we dumped in this whole, all the frogs that I have kissed, like,
um
we're never gonna marry any of these guys. So it's not even like that of like, you know, you they wanted us to dump these guys because, or that's how we perceived it,
right,
that
right, right.
they wanted us to dump these guys because these guys believe better.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not about that part, because we weren't going to marry any of these fucking fools. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's not like love lost or whatever. It's the manipulation, intended or not,
Yeah.
that was like our tastes were being filtered in such a way that
100%.
we were not really picking some of these guys out. That
Yeah.
there's a bit of like religious matchmaking.
Yeah.
Like this boy that they wanted, I guess a man too, but nothing happened. But
Yeah.
they put me with him for prom. He's only a couple years older than me. Like, he's like a country boy man, but that's never gonna be my thing.
Not for
Like,
you.
he's like country music and boots.
We should have switched, if anything.
Maybe so, but but like, it's like, okay, well, I gotta be,
Did you guys talk about anything at this dance?
no.
The Lord, you prayed.
No, we didn't speak at all, real. He
That's
was
the
very
Lord.
nice and like opened the door, and like they had like a church like play at school after prom, and we went to that and whatever. And like he was like, "Do you want to do pictures?" I was like, "No." Like, "Do you
Pass.
want to go to dinner?" No. "Do you want to dance?" Not really. But
Oh,
then
yeah.
after the thing, and like he was like gentlemanly and like held my hand and whatever, and I was like, "Oh, am I supposed to date this guy for real?" So I asked him, and he said, "No,
Oh, good.
not for anything." He was like, "I was just doing this as a favor to them."
The fuck.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not about these like specific situations, but it's like your taste is being groomed for you in
Yeah.
these communities. I mean, not to like begrudge anything now, but like, there were opinions about Jamie, who I half married.
I know.
People were like, he's just like showing up, doesn't even believe it good.
Truly from the cloth. Like,
Born out of it.
yeah. Hmm.
So I mean, there's the goalpost was moving.
Yeah.
because they don't want us with anybody.
Also, okay, so the Outback. Let's talk about the church building.
Okay.
So we began church, as you may remember, in a gymnasium
Gymnasia.
of a broken elementary school where my mother got married the second time,
Gross.
second time, second time,
The second time, ma'am.
second time marriage in the gymnasium.
Mm-hmm.
But then we had prayed and raised funds for a church building of our very own.
Yeah.
And it came to pass. And we built a big fancy church where we could, I guess, just like put whatever you want, including a studio apartment that we called the Outback. It was like a garage with a
Yes.
shower and
Yes.
a couch for people to live on.
Washing machine and refrigerator. And we did have youth groups out there.
Mm-hmm. And parties.
What's like
My sweet
yeah,
16
Sweet 16.
that you surprised.
Yes. But it was pitched of like some of these teens are being persecuted in their homes or thrown out for whatever reason and they need to live here, which I didn't know whatever, like, are we at risk? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
interesting. And then I feel like I don't know that anyone ever did live there.
that's right. I don't think so.
Maybe adults.
Ill. Get these adults out.
I'm saying.
What else?
That's all I had. Okay, I wrote down. Oh, what is broom tree?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, as you know, one church service is not enough.
No, and if you're trying to trap youths,
yeah, you got to get them at night.
Yeah. And with different music, that'll get them.
They can't be around old people. They can't be exposed to the elderly.
They won't receive it that way.
They won't. Ew.
You have to dress it up different. It's a book from 2,000 years ago, but if we put some, a downbeat,
romantic lighting,
maybe they'll like it.
Yes.
It's just the approach.
Put some hotties on the worship team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like I don't even remember.
I don't know that our listeners fucking know. Like we were like on worship teams.
Yeah.
And people who know me now in real life, like think about that shit. Okay.
Here's what. Okay.
Think about what I fucking sang with my whole heart. Okay. Can you imagine it?
Think
people
about
today.
I just want people to think about what our day-to-day looked like because we got up at like 5 a.m. at the latest.
Yeah.
Rollers in my hair, you reading the Bible, crying and journaling.
Yes. Because if I fell asleep too, God was mad at me and I'd have to repent.
Yes. Then we'd go to school. I'd be in the bathroom reading Psalms for a little bit. And then
you fucking love the Psalms.
I loved the fucking Psalms. Then we'd come out and flirt with the boys and do homework at the table until school.
We love homework too. We
didn't love it. We just didn't have time. We had to do it in the morning. Then we'd go
doing our father's work.
Yes. We'd go to school. After school, we would just do church, right? Like we'd be helping people maybe. We'd be going to be worship leaders. And then our weekends is full of like shipping Ben around and going to church.
I had one-on-one Bible studies.
You had old people meetups.
We had to do gardening to raise money to do all these trips.
Pancake beads.
Pancake breakfast. We had to serve at luncheons.
Yeah.
Car wash.
Yep. Mexico's not cheap, you guys.
No.
And Creation Fest and Acquire the Fire. And
yeah. Okay.
All right. We gotta pay our way.
Shocking. What's my favorite book of the Bible, I wonder?
I'm gonna say
No, you guess and then
James.
no.
One of those little ones in the back.
I'm
Like
gonna
a
say
Peter.
I'm gonna say my top two were Romans and Ephesians. Yeah,
Oh, that's very romantic of you, Ephesians.
of course.
I feel like my favorite was probably James.
And I love to this day, I fucking love Ezekiel. That's some badass shit. That's
Yeah.
wild as fuck. I love Ezekiel. What's your favorite Old Testament?
Old Testy. I'd have to have it in front of me, bestie. I'd have to have a list.
I love Ezekiel. I love First Samuel, Second Samuel. Like, please tell me about building that fucking temple. Please tell me
Yes.
about meters and acres and whatever the fuck. How we measure
God.
things is ridiculous. Okay, please tell me more.
Ridiculous.
And First and Second Kings, okay?
Oh, wait, I want to look at a list.
And what's that one of marching about outside the wall?
Yeah. We read that our last year of Mexico.
And Job's fucked up, huh? Job is like
The worst.
my way out. You read Job a few times and you're like, wait, God's just fucking with people?
Yeah.
That's not nice.
Lamentations? Come on.
Oh my God.
We love a lamentation.
I am a lamentation
Yeah.
to this day. I
Oh,
can't get out.
I can't believe that
I
proverb.
forgot about lamentation.
Of course.
Of course.
We love a proverb, of course.
Of course.
Oh,
All this shit with David.
I pass
Can
on
he
David.
get his shit together? My
Pass
God.
on David. David is canceled. David's a fucking wreck. I said
Yeah.
it.
I really identified with him.
Yeah, we were all supposed to.
Yeah.
I hate him. He's the worst character development.
Get a
I'm mad
grab.
at it.
Yeah. There's one that's like, what's the shortest book in the Old Testament?
Oh, is it not Daniel?
No. There's one that's like one fucking chapter.
Yeah.
I forget what his name is, but shit.
Remember when we used to watch like Bible trivia on Saturday night?
This is what, because Jamie doesn't even know this shit. There was Bible Jeopardy, basically. And we would stay up so late and I
like
would
2:00 in the morning.
I'd get a lot of them right, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I'm very good at it. And then there was like these wild ass like alternative Christian videos, music videos. Okay. It was like I still stand by it, pretty dope.
I don't know that I would agree about
At the time.
dope.
For the time.
I still
For
God. Obadiah is one of the 12 minor prophets in the final section.
Is that the shortest?
Google tells me Obadiah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I never.
When I first got the
Never
Bible,
met him.
I read him. That was the first one I read. Because I looked and I was like, this guy's the shortest. I'm going to start there.
Yeah, what's up with him?
Started with Obadiah, y'all.
What's he up to?
I don't remember. He's upset.
Oh, remember old Ruth?
I've never been that into Ruth. I don't get what we're supposed to. And Esther, what the fuck are we supposed to be learning?
That we're supposed to be brides.
Just to be nice brides?
Mm-hmm. Patient.
We've been patient. We didn't need to be fucking told that.
No. Don't know if I could do a reread. I'll be honest.
That might be cute for the pod.
Oh my God, we could Bible study.
I'll get some wild ones. I'll pull some wild ones from my man Ezekiel.
Yeah.
I want you to be able to feel your feelings.
I know.
And not get scared of them. You know?
I'm not scared of most feelings. That was like my biggest feelings, I think.
Tell the pod, what the fuck?
It's like
very scared and upset, and like we couldn't even look at it for like weeks.
Right.
For a week.
Well, I feel like I felt immediately after it happened, I felt like I was misdirecting my feelings. at Amanda, and that made me feel like I was being irresponsible with my feelings, and like I was out of control of them, you know, which can be dangerous in my experience when people are out of control of their feelings.
We've been conditioned that
Yeah,
that's a problem.
right. And I
And
didn't
it's
want to
everybody's.
inflict any harm on my friend Amanda, you know? Like that's
Yeah.
fair.
And I think that's the diff to me. It's like, I mean, be in a room, that's a great place to have some feelings and not
Yeah,
have to be worried about it, because we're safe people in your
right.
life, like
Yeah,
she's in recovery, I'm in recovery, we're in counseling, we're doing all the things, and so like that's the diff. Is like when you're in safe friendships and in a safe place with safe people, you can have a feeling and be like, I'm hurt by this, and nobody has to pick it up and claim it and be like, I have to answer for it. You can just say it. We didn't budget for it. And now you're like, oh no, not
yeah,
this.
yeah. What have I done? Yeah. But I'm very happy that it happened, and I'm happy it's like practice, you know.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Very good. We made it out.
Yeah. It's okay to have feelings.
Of course.
Yes. It's okay to be upset. It's okay
Yes.
to not be upset. It's okay
Yeah.
to, and listen, also, here's the thing. I think I want to make it clear that like I'm not upset at anybody who loves the Lord. Okay.
No, God bless. We
Get
love
down
it.
with your Jesus. And I will
Love
recommend
to
some
see it.
great music videos.
Yeah.
We've got some great reading materials. Get down
Yeah.
with Brennan Manning. Okay.
Oh, King.
We still love.
Bleach,
Mhm.
the Benjamin Gate. So also like the pod will come out when it comes out. And you can't count on your girls and I don't want people to get like that. Like this isn't our job. We're going to do this as we're able to do it.
I'd
You
love
know,
for it to be our job, but it's not.
it's
I
not.
have a dumb job.
I also have several dumb jobs, like it's fine. You get what you get and you don't get upset. And this is like, what we're not gonna do is wring ourselves out for content, for clicks and likes. We're not gonna mine our trauma
Grandma.
at the expense of our well-being. Okay. So you might
Right.
get it a few weeks late and it's fine, because if you want to cry
Yeah.
about it, cash app your girls.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If it's been a couple weeks, it's safe to assume that one of us is having a hard time. And that just means that good content is coming. Okay.
Yeah. And pray for your girls if you
Yeah.
don't see us for a while.
Yeah.
No, we're on it because we're nothing if not hardworking, but it's just
Yeah.
some toughies.
Yeah.
So
I
deal
truly
with it basically.
could not even look at it for a week. So
Right. Couldn't open it.
couldn't even,
Couldn't
yeah,
put it in the drive,
truly
you know? So that's what we're dealing with, okay?
sometimes, but it's getting better. I will be a
Yeah.
human being.
Yeah. Leave a like, leave a dislike, comment,
Yeah.
subscribe.
Tell us how you're doing, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. I still struggle with the lighting.
Am I or ye?
Me,
Nar.
if I'm over here, okay. If I'm back here, shiny.
It's
of
okay.
my life.
So that's how it gets made, okay? Welcome to This Is How We Make Our Podcast.
Oh my God.
We get mad at lights.
And you would think we'd know,
No.
because what could be different?
I have to shove this giant light about. And if you move it a
Yeah.
centimeter, then it's all
Yeah. The whole shot ruined.
ruined.
Look at all my flowers I got.
Hey, what for?
Because yesterday was my recovery birthday.
Hey,
Yeah.
happy birth.
Thanks.
Rebirth.
You got me a carrot cake.
Oh,
A swell.
love a carrot cake.
I do ya?
As long as there's no raisins.
Of course there's gonna be raisins.
I don't
Gold
fuck
and
with
blah.
raisins.
Well, then you don't enjoy carrot cake, do
Yes, I
ya?
do, because I love a cream cheese.
I mean, you like spice cake
No, you
with
like
carrot.
carrots. So we have
You
carrot
need
cake and the
raisins.
raisins.
You must have raisins in.
Mm-mm. Comment below if you like a carrot cake. Hold the raisins.
The raisins, the uvas. Fret not. I wrote some questions.
Oh, me too.
I'm ready.
I'm as ready as I'll be. Although after we spoke, because I had a meltdown, when we spoke, I felt better. Then I went, to my after work pee.
Yeah.
Truly the most period blood that has ever come out of my body. So I was like, well, that checks out.
Okay.
There it is.
There it is. Whoop,
There's
there
our
it is.
answer.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So pay it no mind. You had that was a very small meltdown, if that was a meltdown.
Well, it's
I
like
just heard from you an hour ago.
it's been many things, like it's a lot. I still have not edited our last episode, so it'll be like a delay getting this.
Oh well.
It's like I don't have time for breathing, so it's a
This
bit
is
toughy.
yeah. You know what I'm gonna say though, and this is like big sister, and this is for everyone, because I'm sure you're not the only person being like, I don't have time to breathe or pee.
I can pee.
Okay, well,
Trust. She'll pee either way. It's calming,
wherever, whenever.
Yeah.
But if you're too busy to breathe or cry or piss, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
Because breathing's a human right, Bessie.
Yeah, I do feel
You're
that.
nothing's that important. No
Yeah.
offense to your gerb, but true.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And yeah, I'm feeling that way as well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to cool it.
Yeah.
Keep thinking about maybe just being sick.
Nice.
Too,
I love that.
I think the time it's right, so I might do
Yes.
that like next week.
Yeah. Be ill. All this blood.
I have when you come to visit, I have a restaurant you got to come to.
What it is.
It's spicy chicken. It's called Pretty Bird. It's right by my work. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's spicy.
Like chicken sandwiches?
They do
Or like fried
sandwiches.
chicken?
It's fried chicken, but they do sandwiches. They do tenders. That's what I get.
Of course.
And they got hot honey. That's so good. They got good ranch. They got a good fry sauce.
Okay. I'm coming.
That's really good. And their ceiling is pink. Hot pink.
Cute.
Cute.
Very cute.
Has a stroll. You had a great day.
I had a great day yesterday, and I had a pretty great day today.
Really good.
Yeah. And yeah. Very good. I think everyone's first client is disaster unless if it goes great, you're an anomaly. Congrats. You know, you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
baby, or you already know you're already perfect, whatever.
Yeah.
But in talking to some of the other gals, like, also had a very hard time. This sweet little
Oh,
gal who I'm just now getting to know, she's so sweet. And she was like, we're talking about our first clients, and she was like, I was, my glasses were fogging up. I was crying as I was blow drying her. And she was like, I cried. I was like, I cried at home. And she was like, no, I cried blow drying.
oh, we love
Yay.
her.
I know. It's just hard, you know, but
Yeah.
oh well, you know, we
Yes,
carry on, we overcome, you know.
that's
And
right.
so yes, then I'm like, I was feeling all type of way, and then it's like, no, don't do like self-pity, like check in on other people, compliment other people, go out of your way to like compliment someone else's work. Like there's so much comparing,
Yes.
and I don't know, is that just education? Is that craft? Is that skill? Is that everywhere? I don't know. Because I've just been in my house, you know, no one to
Right,
compare
right.
to, but a lot of comparing. But then I like had like a breakthrough of like, if this girl's foils are fucking gorgeous and look so nice and so much better than mine, good for her. And I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna say, yours are beautiful. Tell me everything you can, you know?
Yeah. Learn
And
from
like
the
there's some
people.
kind of like instant karma in that of like what
Yes.
a lift, you know, I don't know what that is, but it was magical.
Yes.
And then like
Community.
today we had like a real teacher because our nasty teacher was not there. And so we had a real teacher. And so I real learned.
Oh, how do we get that
Oh,
teacher all the time?
ugh, girl, I don't know. She's floaty. She's a
Mm,
substitute floater, you know. We
yeah.
love her, you know. And I'm like, I'm asking questions, you know. It's like when you get depressed, your world get very small, you know.
Yes.
It's the cure to that is expensive, you know.
Yes. 100%.
I don't like, you know, it's scary about that anybody, any old Karen could come off the street and get an appointment and be difficult. Like my friend who's crying in the shampoo bowl, like her lady
Yeah.
was a bitch. Like, I gotta, why is this taking so long? Like, really being way too much to my friend. And so I'm like, I don't like that. The unknown of like, we're doing our assignment, but then at any moment,
Yeah.
somebody can come in and get in the chair, you know? So I'm like, Bestie, I'm booking all my friends. I'm packing my books so that I
Ah,
have an appointment every day so I can't get a walk in, you know?
beautiful.
Yeah. So,
Duh.
duh.
Cute. That's a hot tip.
Hot tip. Have friends.
And like continually make them do their hair.
Yeah.
If you only have a few friends.
Yeah. Well, you know, my friend who I did the practice, like first, one of my first cuts, she's been going around our friend group saying I gave her the best haircut of her life. And so one of my other friends came up to me last night and she's like, I heard you gave her the best haircut of her life. Do me next. I don't know what I want. I just want very good haircut, you know?
I love that. And you
Yeah.
did do a very beautiful, I don't know if we can share a picture, but you did a very beautiful money piece.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's like,
Yeah.
that's what I
Okay.
want. But peach, you know.
Yeah. 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 And
That's so exciting.
yeah. So I was really down. On Friday, I was like, I'm going to barbering school. Like, I don't want to deal with women's at all. I just want to do clipper cuts on the men's because they don't want foils ever, you know?
Yeah.
But no, like, this is fine and it's
Right.
good. And it's like, there's space for that, like affirming other gals, you know?
That's nice.
I do want to work on a lot of men. So
Yeah.
tell your husbands, tell your brothers,
Right.
get your
I
boyfriends.
can't find mine, but but I'll try. Hi, hi, hi.
Hi.
I'm so sorry.
Don't be
Oh,
sorry
no, we
ever on this
never.
podcast.
Isn't that what you came here for?
Ah.
Right.
Let me at least look pretty while I'm apologizing. Hold on. Can I show you guys Millie's artwork? Do you see the picture of the girl and she's
That's
carrying
her. Oh my
a
God.
bat and there's a light bulb? Isn't that the most amazing thing?
Wow. Go Mills.
I
Yeah, that
know.
was like middle school Millie.
Wow.
Oh,
Well, welcome to our guest. Our most, okay, here's what. You were our most viewed video in the history of us. And so is that
okay.
scary? Did that freak
I
you
don't.
out?
Was there any? I mean, just viewed. That's like is that like the podcast version of being left on red, where it's like, well,
I mean, that's
No, I don't think so. It's
We
hard to
don't-
get a comment from people.
we don't
It's
get
hard to get
many
anything.
comments.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
They're
guess that's
shy.
my actual question is that did you also receive all kinds of comments? How does that for you that I was the most viewed video?
I'm not surprised because I figured there would be some looky-loos, and there certainly were, And like, example is like I've asked my mother-in-law not to watch because of language and whatever, because,
Because I'm always talking about blowjobs.
she's always talking about blowjobs.
Threesomes
Can't
and
stop. Yeah.
But she said she did break the promise and watch that one. And I was like, okay, cool.
That's okay. I don't. Yeah, that was good. Okay,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
But I'm
guys have
like,
We'll see where
Did-
this goes. Just
did you have any thoughts on it though? I mean, were you freaked out after because it's one thing to be honest in this little room, in this,
Yeah.
cocoon.
Yeah.
But did you have a panic when it was going up?
I was worried because okay. I was a little worried because it went so well and it was so enjoyable. And my fear was confirmed when I watched the episode and you guys had your little debriefing afterwards and you're like, that was a little too enjoyable and easy. and I thought that was fair. But then it was weird because I was hoping that all of the anxiety that I went into that session with, I'd be done with that. But then it was like, oh no, we didn't talk about the things that they. So now I was like, okay, what? So I'm like revisiting all of that. But on the other hand, on the other side of that coin is I do feel like it was a sincere
Yes.
goodness,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop playing with my screen. It's on a pillow, and I like hands off. I'm done.
I think we're so kindred, it's like so hard to not like just,
Yeah.
and we're
I'm
like,
grateful for that.
yeah. Like it's so much joy in all of it now on this side of it. And so it's hard to like I was having a lot of anxiety today. And I was like, I don't know if we're ready, but we're very prepared and but it's like, I'm not good at, feeling hard feelings. So we're going to try our best.
Yeah. My hope is that, I don't know if you guys feel this way, and this is probably a privileged opinion for me to have, but I mean, I'm sure it is. It almost feels like because that, how do I say this? I feel like that, you didn't say camaraderie. Did you say camaraderie? No, you said kindred. Yeah. I feel like that is that's genuine. I feel like there's evidence that that's genuine and that makes me feel like that's what allows for grace. I feel like that's what allows, because it's not like there was some performance or pretense happening however many years ago.
Right.
what we are feeling now was what I am feeling now with you guys. What I feel now is what I was feeling then. It wasn't a different thing. I'm a
Right.
different person now in many ways. We're all in a different place, but
Yeah. I think we talked about that like we're like there's something like connected no matter what we believe or who we are at the time. Like it was true then, it's true now, it'll be true next week. You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah.
for real, for real. And I don't think we said it went too well. I don't
No.
think.
You were just something, I don't remember how you said it, but like we didn't really get to the hard stuff. Like I'm here for it. I'm ready for the hard stuff.
Okay. Oh my.
But before we get to the hard stuff, I want to say on the last episode I watched with Martin, you said, Mary, you said something about, well, was I fun? You said something about questioning whether or not you were funny.
Yeah.
And I can't believe
Really?
you don't. That's one thing. I mean, you are many things, and I don't know you necessarily today, but you're many things. You are so smart, and you are beautiful, and you're ambitious, and all these things. But you must know you are funny. Like, I will never not have your voice reading bugs to my kids in Mexico.
I forgot about that.
And it's just like, there is no other person who would conjure
Yeah. The
narrators with anyway, so that was just for
we just put a picture up of Bugs.
Yes.
My favorite novel to this day.
please. Okay.
And I think you gave me a copy of Bugs, like for Ella's first birthday or something.
You must read it exactly the same.
I'm good. I've always known, like I'm funny to kids, but I really don't have perspective of what I was like then, because maybe it's still like residual embarrassment or shame or whatever about, how hardcore I was. It was that my whole personality, because as I grew up, like my Christianness just grew to like critical mass and then exploded, And so I forget that I was a whole person and had a personality. Yeah. So glad to hear it.
Yeah. No, and the kids were not laughing as hard as the adults at bugs. So it's not about it.
I don't know. Where do we want to start?
I mean, okay, I have a question that I feel like might be a good place to start. We talked a little bit about Broomtree last time you were here, which was the church service that was at night. There was like a group of fellas that were introduced to us. They were like musicians. Okay. I don't know how they got into our group, but we kind of have a loose memory of them being kind of like proposed to us as like suitors, like these guys are more appropriate for you than these maybe other guys.
Okay.
I don't know if that was just pressure we put on ourselves, or if you remember like approving of these guys or not. They seemed old, in our recollection, but there was like, I don't know. Yeah. That's a question mark.
Okay. Gosh, and I just have to, I will tell you everything that I really and truly remember.
Yeah.
Because no one is ready to throw anybody under the bus more than I am, as long as but that's the problem, is that I think we addressed this on the last one. My terrible memory. I mean, and the fact that my kids were so little then, and I can't even, if it weren't for such a glorious rendition of certain children's books, I wouldn't have any memories of my children's childhood. But anyway, from what I remember, there was a church in Hoquiam or Aberdeen. Hoquiam, I think. Oh gosh, I am the worst for naming things. Okay.
I think it's out of the bag.
It's well and truly out. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
that was of a certain type, a very charismatic type of church, very charismatic. I think
Oh,
they were an Assembly of God church. I don't know that for sure. And so there was a group of guys who were musicians slash church leaders, or like youth, or maybe they were just in the youth group at that church, but I know they were at least musically in leadership in the church.
Yeah.
That had, and I think one of their moms was too, come to think of it. Anyway, I
Cool.
think that she was their youth leader. Somehow there was this connection, and it was, my guess would be that it's through Young Life. That would be my guess. And I believe that there was my ex-husband became very close friends with one of them.
Yeah.
Who had a very close friend that I really don't know. I didn't know at the time. I didn't know any of these people,
Yeah.
but I did know the one friend
Who we love, I think.
I love.
Yeah.
I so far I've not learned anything about this person to not love him and his family, his whole family. And he also has his own story and journey and all that. Whatever, who doesn't? But
yeah.
Hashtag church too. Sorry. So I think he and at least one of the other guys came along kind of as a package deal. And I only ever spent a lot of time with this one, this very good friend. It seems like when we were in the planning phases of Broomtree, they were there for those conversations. I have a real vivid memory of sitting in a very well lit, but like empty of chairs or whatever, sanctuary, like in the new building, sitting in sort of a round circle. And I feel like maybe some talks about how things would be structured were happening, but then I think this friend started playing guitar or something, and it suddenly we were singing. I feel like you guys were there. I know for sure your mother-in-law was there, I believe. I think. Anyway, another strong woman that I considered a friend was there. It could have been either one of you or her. So but I don't really remember much more than that. They were going to be involved in music, and that the one good friend, of course, was just like, he played every instrument, and would sit down and play the drum. I want you to play him this way, or he'd get up and play the keys. This is how I want this to go, or whatever. But I don't. And then I remember the Flatfoot 56.
Oh yeah.
Concert. So those are the memories I have of those people, other than just on a weekly, like when we were gathering and having the services together. I don't. And then of course the wedding of the good friend. I remember those things. Those are what I remember about the wedding. I think this is probably wrong. This is probably two separate memories that I've merged together. But at one point, my ex-husband and I had gone away. We went, I don't know if we had been in Missouri, maybe went back to visit my family. I feel like what we came back for was this wedding. It probably wasn't. The memory I'm having is probably just any given Sunday morning. But I remember arriving and you, Mary, like tackling me with a hug and being like, never leave again. And as much as I love that, I also recognize now, not then.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems here, right? Like that's one of the issues of that. Well, whatever, for me, I'm working on my codependency, but that enmeshment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anyway, that's a whole side story, but I don't know if it was at their wedding that I received that big, but that's what how I place all those things. I'm not answering your question. I remember two guys, and I remember their participation in music with Broomtree. I don't remember having any plans. Well, that's not true. I had plans with one person for Mary that is ridiculous. I have no idea why I thought this would be a good idea, except that, I mean, I think I probably also thought he was kind of cute. But anyway,
But not the music boy. This is the
not
different
the
boy.
music boy.
Yeah.
This is the stinky
Yeah.
construction boy or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Who came on our trip, our building trips with
Oh,
us.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it.
And we went
Yeah.
to prom, my senior
Yes.
prom.
Yeah, that.
Nobody knows. There's no pictures of that.
There's-
So
yeah, no.
that's anonymous.
That's all right. Why don't I know? My God. Where
You
was
do,
I?
you know,
You do. You do.
you do. He had a brother that definitely did
Yeah.
date somebody else, but anyway, this is fun.
know.
Let's just not like
Say it without
Yes,
them.
who?
But I didn't remember that it's called Broom Tree. I don't remember that branding or that being a separate thing, but I do remember like music started happening and like, wow, we have some youngs who, love Jesus and like, let's get them, and like, these were the us of whatever this other church was. And let's get them in here,
with penises, which is
Yes, which we need.
Yeah.
exactly. So there, so
Because-
I'm not, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that wasn't.
Yeah. Well, it's hard out here for us gals who are trying to be, I mean, we're supposed to be evenly yoked and there's not
Yeah.
good pickings,
Right.
I mean, that's the story of our whole adolescence,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
mean,
that's
I
what's
know-
weird. Yeah.
I think back to like the Bob days, the Bob group. And I know, because I know my personality, that I am sure I shared very strong opinions very loudly and consistently with quite a bit of judgment and passive aggressiveness. So much so that I'm sure that I was delivering a message. This is how you should live, and I will show you how and with whom and all of this. I'm sure that that's the case. I feel that in my body. I do not remember
Right.
what I was saying, how I was saying it, who I was saying it about, what particular opportunities or people I was trying to create. I truly don't. What makes you ask about the guys? I remember two guys. I remember two
Yeah.
guys.
I ended up dating one of them, and he was not age appropriate for me. I think it was after we came back from Mexico.
Because I were gone. Because I was not there.
Like you were away at school.
I believe. Because I don't
That checks
remember like
out.
being buddies with that guy. Like I know of that guy, but I don't think we were friends.
He went on a Mexico trip?
He went on a Mexico trip. I came back from Mexico, broke up with my boyfriend because he did not love the Lord. Like a month or two later, started dating this man who went to Broom Tree, played bass guitar. And yeah, it was just not great. Not a great choice on my part, have some regrets about that. He ruined punk rock for me also. I can't listen to that,
How
which is a
dare
real
you.
shame.
That's the real.
But yeah, not great. But I do wonder, like, why, like, I was older child, like I was like a sophomore in high school. So like I should have known better, but also like
You were a
adult,
sophomore in high school?
it was like the summer of my sophomore year. So I was like going into junior. He was like maybe 22, I want to say.
I am genuinely, but obviously I was there. I was
I
there?
don't know. And the timeline is weird. That's why I was curious, because I don't know if you guys were in Mexico or if you were, I can't recall.
The last trip that I am aware of happened when we were living in Mexico.
Right.
And you guys came, I think that you went there, or you guys didn't, but the guys that were on the trip went and visited a prison and like gave them all their shoes. Does
Yeah,
this
I
ring a
feel
bell?
like it was that one, but I don't know. You timelines are weird. So you guys might not have been there, but I know that he came in with that group of guys. It was, I don't know.
Well, I'm really sorry. I appreciate you saying that you were old, but every single
Right.
it was the sophomore, and
Yeah,
did your mom know that you? I
that's
can't
what I'm
even
saying. Like he
believe
was,
your mom.
yeah, he was like at my house, like
Oh wow!
any adult, would have been.
Right?
So it was,
Yes.
I don't know, tough.
Yes. I'm really sorry as an adult.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that you guys were here, so.
Well, but but here's the thing: you're connecting that person's presence, obviously, with us, but also it sounds like a community grooming.
Right.
So, and to a certain degree, maybe even that guy might have felt a little bit groomed, not to take any
Yeah, maybe.
what's the word, autonomy away from him and his and the choices that he made as a grown man. If yeah, and this is where I feel like religious trauma, spiritual trauma, church trauma is such a big deal, because this is not usually one
Right.
actor doing something awful to someone. This is usually either one person who has the opportunity to build and grow a relationship with an entire community, or you have an entire community who has such problematic and toxic everything, ideology, lifestyle, so social, everything that is shepherding,
Yeah.
curating this just abuse of people from as early as possible. From an age as early as possible. Get them as early as you can,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really sorry. I just one of the questions, I'm in this Power 5 group with my in recovery, and one of the questions that we had to work with was not just recently, it was not just what are the ways that I'd been abused or neglected, but how did I learn, where did I learn to turn my or to close my eyes, or turn away, and when I have seen abuse or neglect. And that, sitting with that question, because I've definitely sat with how was I abused and neglected in my family of origin stuff, but when I stopped and I thought about the dozens of adults in my life that I am grateful for in many ways, because if it weren't for them, I wouldn't, we would have been homeless, or I would have been, there's lots of reasons I'm grateful for those people. But to actually have to sit with the honesty of, there's no way they didn't know. There's no way they didn't know. At least have suspicions that that everything was not okay.
Yeah.
And I say that, and then at the same time, here I'm sitting here saying, if I knew that Sweet Peach as a sophomore was dating a guy in his 20s, it would be, everybody would have every right to say, how did you not know that was a little bit
Right.
unhealthy or toxic or weird or sketch or whatever. And I would say, if I did, if I had thought either anybody was in danger, I feel like I would have done something. And that's hard. That's a hard truth to sit in, and it's mine. It has nothing to do with you needing to hear that the adults in your life were fucking not doing their job,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, number one, fuck that guy.
Yes.
Piece of shit, and his behavior is his problem, 100%. And it's not, for the church or me as the sister, or, our mom to be like, sentinels at the door, like that's not how it works. That's him fucking up,
Yeah.
But
100%.
I think there is like, our mom threatened so many people, so it is crazy that, fucked up, unsafe stuff happens because that's life, fucked up shit happens. But I think there was at some point, it's like mom got to relax a little bit because we're church girls, and the church, and what could happen with these boys who love Jesus, and so I
Right.
think that him being associated, any boy being associated with the church, it's like, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
That's God's problem, God's on it, and so I think like definitely, I think that gives like, what is that called? What is that called? Like credence. What is that called? Like, this guy seems like an okay guy, even though he's 22 and what the fuck is he doing over at my house? Well, he's with the church and it's fine,
Yeah.
because he loves the Lord. And I think so. This is not like a pitchfork moment of like, Peach needs to get an answer for this, is because like this happens to sweet Christian girls all the time, period. You know what I mean? And so I just think, I
Yeah.
don't know what I think, but
And
you know
not
what I mean? Like,
not
it's
for
not
you
one person.
specifically to
Yeah.
answer to. Yeah. Like it's
You know?
just like the whole experience is like so fuzzy still. And I'm like, I don't know. When things like that happen and you're like in your 30s, when you start to process like, oh shit, like this actually happened to me and it's actually bad and it's actually not my fault. And then like also there were all these fucking people around while it was happening. It's like it's hard to piece together. And so when there's like maybe someone knows more, like I don't know. But I don't know that you guys were there, and I don't think that you were given the timeline, but yeah, fuck that guy. And also,
Yep.
like, you're so right. Like, when you're like in an environment where manipulation is like the name of the game, you start to like also pick up those things. And I feel that too. And it's like I'm constantly like twisting the story around in my head about so many different things. And I don't know. It's just unclear still, but tough.
And I think too, like, if you're gonna find, because in any group of people, there's gonna be manipulators, abusers, whatever. And I think like, if we get one of those guys into this circle of sweet church girls who have to be evenly yoked, like that's good pickings for a person like that, because then the sweet Christian girls who want to be evenly yoked, like who else are we going to get? Like we kind of have to, not have to, but that's the mindset at the time that like, well, at least he loves the Lord, And so I think it's like, I don't know what to say. Like the church has a whole problem with, this is where all this bad shit happens because we're not supposed to be shopping elsewhere or listening to ourselves. I don't know.
It's an interesting, so this is an interesting topic, and I don't mean to say that like it's more than interesting, obviously. So I have an opinion about church, and it is that, not only is every group, whatever social situation or experience going to have one or two bad apples, right? That are going to find themselves in a situation where they have, a bunch of people, young people who are ripe for the picking, right? But it's also when there are young people, and not just girls, but often I am a girl. I was a girl. And I came from a home where there was a lot of brokenness. There was a lot of trauma. There was a lot of need. And I feel like that, I think a lot of us walk around with this big red letter on us that only, that certain people can see.
Yeah.
And zero in on. And so I had two experiences as a young person. One time in junior, in like the junior high youth group, and then one as a high schooler, where not only were these men who were volunteers for the youth group showing me attention, even calling my house, but the other adult youth group members were encouraging it. And I knew it was weird. I felt like it was weird, and didn't, I didn't pursue a relationship with those people. Anyway, fast forward to after our initial time in the church community there. And then we moved to Mexico and the church split. And then we came back to be a part of everything coming back together again. There's another pastor, leading the church. I guess he was the original pastor, whatever. They went away. Like, it was like our first, I felt like babysitters. It was like our first week there. And he and his wife went away for their anniversary or something. And their second oldest daughter, because their oldest daughter was already married and moved away, but their second oldest daughter was at home. And this guy, she was in high school, this guy, I'm telling a story, but my point is that there was a guy in the community, in the church community, that was a good friend of the family, and who was always around, everybody seemed to trust, but was giving what I believed to be really inappropriate attention to this daughter. And I said something, like, I was like, this isn't okay, and you shouldn't be spending time alone at the house with her, and this is, and of course I was made to feel like I was the biggest fool in the world, because and that I was overstepping. Totally ruined relationship with this young girl that up to that point I'd been building, and maybe we were there longer than a week, but I mean, I felt like we had a connection, like this is someone that I was gonna whatever mentor because Mary and Katie are gone, but but I ruined that because I was like, this is not okay, this isn't weird. And that's what you do, like that's what you do, especially and maybe you call it out when it's not a thing because you've had it experience, you've experienced it before. And I guess as much as I wish I had some sort of an answer to fill in any dots for you, more than that, I just wish, I'm not saying that I wasn't there and that if I had been, things would have been different. And I'm in no way am I saying it's anyone's fault. When I said, did your mom know, it wasn't because she dropped the ball. It was like, I know your mom.
Right.
And I don't know, that was just a bunch of rambling, not to make myself, not to like make myself any more or less responsible, but just to say that I hear your story, I see you, I relate to it, it's fucking messed up, and I'm sorry. And I don't even know, I can tell by the way this conversation has been that you are owed several apologies, and that will never make up for whatever,
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, and it is every group, because I've got, in my 12-step community right now, we've got this old man who wants to be 13-stepping gals who come in. They could be 18, they could be 80, and he's trying it, because it's any group is going to have a weirdo who's like, let's use this like spiritual way to get somewhere with somebody. Like, it's a mess, it's everywhere. but I also like, as grown-ups ish, having been removed from all of this like youth group and church stuff for so long, like it's weird, especially like with the purity stuff too, of like,
Mhm.
I guess this is how it's done, of like how to keep girls and boys from not having sex with one another is we get them in rooms with each other and then with grown-ups, and we hear about these adults and their sex lives and what's a stumbling block for a man who's in his 30s or 40s to hear about. It's so weird. I don't know that there's an appropriate way to get, I don't know, but is that not bananas on the outside? Not saying like you're wrong for that. I don't feel that you're wrong for that. It's a system
Yeah, we
that's
were psyched
everywhere.
to be mentoring people in a few years about purity. So we were on the track,
But so crazy to know about adults and what it's like for them fucking, bananas.
It's fucking it's so bananas. And I will say this, because so here's the thing, and I think I said this last time. The thing I had to just keep telling myself is, you're fucked up, Amanda. This is weird to you because you are
Yeah.
fucked up.
right.
I knew I was I had issues. I had issues with sexuality, with honesty. Like I had all these issues from early on. Like, I mean, I don't know if we talked about how, I had a crush on every single teacher, youth pastor sometimes, like every single one. Like,
Yeah.
I fantasized about, and I believed that their wives were the biggest bitches in the world.
Yeah.
That I would fantasize about how, like, it was ridiculous. And that did not necessarily change once I was married, had children, that it tweaked. It was different for sure, but this hole that began to be dug in my life by certain people from a very, very early age was with me, and only being made bigger by Jesus and my husband at the time. And it's not even my ex's fault. We were adding to the holes in each other's lives. Like and so yes, there were times, and here's the thing, like when it comes to purity, the purity culture and all of those teachings, I was 100% convinced that if left on our own, young people would just start, we would we would succumb to the temptations of pornography and each other's bodies, and we would just have these, and sex seemed so dark and evil to me. Like, that's so sad. Like, it was like all I had to do was think about my ex-husband looking at pornography, and this hit, because I would just have this panic feeling of that's wrong, it's evil, it's so bad, and we have to keep that from happening. No, it's not. Like, sex is a good and glorious and beautiful thing. And I mean, I have three of my open browsers on my phone are different, like my three favorite videos that I go back to on Belesa or Belesa.
Link down below.
Yeah. Don't put a picture up.
I mean, it was like terrifying to me. And so for people like that I loved, I was just doing what I was told to do. I mean, this sounds like such the biggest fucking cop out, but I believed that I did not know. I had no positive or wholly healthy frame of reference. So of course, what I felt in my body and believed in my brain was wrong. When I was that message was also reinforced constantly. What I think in my brain and believe in my body is wrong. And so there is that. Yeah, it's not like red flags wouldn't pop up, but again, that is in the system. That is built in. You
Yeah.
cannot trust those red flags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't.
I think I remember, and again, like trauma brain, but I think I remember in like this purity club that we had all of us gals,
Yes.
God bless my sister-in-law, poor thing. And then we had this very elderly gal in the church. And I don't know if this is true. This is my
No,
memory.
keep going.
Okay. But like one of like the first meetings of this club, I think she shared about like something really fucked up of like trauma or abuse that happened to her. But she was sharing about it in a way that was very like victim blamey, I think. And I remember Amanda being like, I don't want this lady to share it. And I think you told her to shut the fuck up. Not like that, but I think you like took her aside and was like, you can't be sharing that with these gals. Like I have that memory. I don't know if that's true, but
Oh my
like
God.
I think you were like, you're here to just pray for the gals. Like, don't talk anymore.
Oh my
Not like
God.
that. Not like that.
I think that's nice.
I know, hero. I don't think you said it like that. Obviously, I have no tact or
Like,
dignity, but
This isn't about you, old lady. You had your shot. Like, no.
Go talk to a
there.
therapist, gal. That's
But I think I
nice.
remember that, and I'm like, go, Amanda, because you did have some flags, and you did act on them, and you did protect us from a lot of bananas ass shit. So
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
it's not all
I
about
have
picture.
no recollection of that, but I am grateful to hear that
Take it.
occasionally.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you guys though, before the True Love Waits class, did you guys like you and your ex-husband, did you debrief before like this is what we're gonna share with the kids? You know?
Oh, interesting.
Oh. I literally have no idea, and I don't even remember that we did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we did that, was that at was it just us, or did we do that together as a whole youth group?
I think whole youth group, boys went into one room, girls went into the other, right?
Well, see, I think it was an extracurricular.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
Late
think
at
it
night.
was like I don't know if it was late at night.
I think it was. It was dark and moody.
And then did they meet out in the outside? No, that was, see, I don't know.
I
Not
think they were
outside,
in
but
like the
like-
children wing, and we were like in the grown-up library.
Yeah.
How worrisome is it that I don't remember this?
It's okay.
No, that's good. That you don't
You have
need it.
freedom.
If it's not there, carry on.
Yeah.
Well, I would love, I must have been dissociating a lot.
I think.
I think that's good.
That's good.
Honestly,
Your brain's helping you, girl.
You
Take the
can't
W.
dissociate if you have young people under your charge. Like, literally.
I don't know.
I mean, you feel free, parents, mothers, but I mean, that's worrisome to me. I remember having you guys over to the house every Wednesday afternoon after school. That's what I remember.
Aw.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
Bob.
And then
But I don't.
And then I remember one time, okay, when Peach and I had our big fight because I kissed one of her boys.
Ex-boyfriends.
Which was an ex-boyfriend. I don't know why you're tripping, but we were like in a fight. You were not talking to me. And I just drove us to Amanda's house and just waltzed in. And I'm like, fix our relationship.
That's right.
It was like, I was so inappropriate too, of like, I'm just showing up at your house whenever I'm having an emotion. You don't even know I'm coming.
And it works, I
True
think.
love, Mary. That's true love. Just show up at my house when you're
I'm
having.
just coming in. Millie let me in one time.
What a nightmare for you guys.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Random teens all the time.
No, make my life worthwhile. Make it all mean something. Make it all. I remember not buying a set of knives from you.
Yeah. Good
That's
for
a good
you.
choice.
Too. That's the W too.
Really wanted to. God damn. I I remember you showing up. I remember you showing up. Yeah, I remember that. I do not remember leading you through. I was probably traumatized myself by True Love Waits because that shit's old. That was old.
Yeah.
Pass on to you guys. That was not its first print. And have you seen, well, this is old news for sure. Like Josh Harris.
Yeah.
He's like,
He's out, he's in, he's out. Yeah.
yeah, whatever.
Okay. And then the Outback, and who knows if any of this will be
That's what I
published.
was. Yeah.
Who
Okay.
knows if this will be in the pod, whatever, but just for us gals.
Yeah.
Was the Outback, okay, correct me, but like, was it not, Dennis was like, we need a refrigerator and a washer and dryer in case any of you get thrown out from your homes. You're going to stay here and live here.
Yeah, that's also why I got my tubes tied. Not because people
What?
might tied my, well, but literally, like, we really felt like we were certain that someone would end up pregnant and not be able to
I
raise their
was gonna ask because I remember him making this offer to us in like Sunday school, I want to say. He's like, don't get an abortion. If you get pregnant, we'll adopt your babies. And at the time I was like, a king, you know, like this is the level. And looking back, I'm like, what the fuck?
Truly,
what
what
the fuck?
You
What the
know?
I mean, not that I'm
No.
that I didn't have another baby, but yeah.
Wow.
No, that's real.
What a commitment
Yeah.
you made.
Well, so here's the thing. And again, I want to be very careful.
Yes.
A lot of the reason I was apparently feeling the need to dissociate, I felt like that was like our home was that as well. Like we had people come and live with us who had really should not have probably been anywhere near children, you know, like, but it was very much that we are not, I mean, we raised our children every day. And I may have said this already last time, but when I would drive them to school and pray for them, of course I prayed for their protection from evil, but I was telling that we are here to be a blessing to other people. Like, you go be a blessing, you go make someone's day better, you know, help your teacher, you find that, like, and in some ways, I mean, of course, it sounds like all good things to tell, you know, find the loner kid, like, whatever, but the message that they were constantly hearing, which is the message I was constantly hearing as a wife, is we don't matter. Like, you don't matter. What we have is not ours to keep. It is ours to give away and to let other people come in. And of course, if that, I mean, you are just like our children, our most prized, like, we cherish you. We cherished you as much as we could, as ours, as much as we could, which you weren't ours, which is also problematic. but you know, but of course, you know, we're here to establish a kingdom on earth. We're here to make heaven, you know, rain down and happen here. Like, we are going to be part of redeeming, making this world that is so dark and sinful and wrong, like, we can begin to have Jesus's reign here on earth even before his return. And it's, if we had just put so much effort towards saving the environment, like if we had just been trying to keep the planet from burning. We were trying to keep souls from burning.
Let me see. My MySpace manifesto. I mean,
Where to begin?
where do we begin? And why okay, for the pod, I guess this is.
I coined it, the MySpace manifesto.
Yes.
I want credit for that. Before we put it in, and I want that.
Yes. I didn't call it that. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I went to college and I decided I was a blogger about it, and just in case anyone cared, I was writing about it on the MySpace of, being the designated driver for the Lord. And then at some point being like, am I friends with the Lord? And processing that on the internet,
As you
great,
did at the time.
great work. And I don't know. And I think at some point, and I don't remember, I wish someone still had it, but at some point I was like coming out on the MySpace manifesto of how, like, I don't believe this anymore or whatever. I don't know who was calling for a public proclamation, but I don't know.
Oh. What I hate is that there was such agency in that. Like, looking back on that now, you had such bravery and agency, and like every bit of whatever qualms you have about whether or not you have a personality, like that came through on that. And I should just stop. That's all I'm going to say, because you haven't asked me a question and I could save myself.
Well, I don't know that I have a question because I don't remember, but you said you wanted to talk about it last time. You're like, my MySpace manifesto. So I don't know, except for like, you were upset with me for saying it, that I was like not with God anymore.
No, well, maybe I probably came across as anger, but as often my concern does. No, I assume the reason that I thought it should be talked about was because I assume that this incident is a black mark in our relationship. That's what I assumed. So, I mean, it was a big deal. And also, like, the consequences of it, like, just like, there's a whole, story about, like, there's a whole thing with your mom, like, because of it. Like, there's a whole thing. So I assumed it was one of the hard things that we didn't get to.
Yeah.
In my story, it goes that I read your MySpace manifesto, and I immediately contacted my women's group, my accountability group, which was made up of, I think, at the time, 4 other women, one of whom was your mother-in-law, and said, have you guys seen this? I'm worried. Please be praying for her, And I think that it was at that point that, and this is the thing about social media, right? It's like as soon as I put it in the hands of other people, because I literally shared it with them. But then
you printed it out and brought it to them.
No, I was in Mexico. I was in Mexico at the time.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So
it totally made its way across borders.
Yeah, I can't even drive up to your house and say, fix our relationship. Fix your relationship. Jesus, what's wrong? Clearly, there's not enough me in your life anymore. Look what happens. And then, I mean, it was pretty doggone quick that I was hearing from people who were not happy with the way I was handling that situation.
Really?
Like, I want to say it was like that same night. I feel like that's probably not true.
Really?
It's probably not true, but it felt like it. Yes.
Not just my mom.
Oh no, your mom. Yeah, your mom. But
our mom is many.
My mom's legion.
Activated.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And honestly, I think your mother-in-law wasn't thrilled with my.
Yeah.
As well, I think it got into the hands of that has a big family and in the church, and suddenly, it was just like, it was as if I had posted it as your thesis, like your Lutheran theses on the wall of the church. And I don't recall knowing me, I mean, I was probably immediately like, whatever, profusively trying to apologize. And your mom, I have to say this about your mom. I haven't met too many women who aren't worried about what other people think about them. Certainly at that time, could not name on one hand any other women, you know, the number of, you know what I'm saying, whatever that thing is. And the fact that my apology or my humility, whatever it was that I may have my groveling had no apparent impact or power over her, I just didn't know what to do with that. I was like, she's not forgiving me. She's not acting like she understands. Like, I don't know what to do here.
She's not known for her forgiveness, so.
Well, and I'm not known for not kind of being able to talk myself out of something or like, you know, like get what I want to a certain degree. And I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, this person doesn't like me. Like, I think she doesn't like me and is mad at me and I can't fix it. Like, there have been a few times in my life I haven't been able to fix something. That's what it comes down to. Being able to fix something. And then you weren't taking any, I couldn't even get to you. Like, I couldn't get to you, man. Yeah. Like, it was, I don't.
What does that mean?
Like, you hear from me? Like, I wasn't able to like apologize to you.
So what does that mean? Like, did I shut down my socials or was I just like not answering or what was it?
I don't know.
I don't either.
You really need historians.
I know.
I don't know. I know that it was like years later and we were back in Ocean Shores and your mom was at a service. Like, I think I was able to like break the ice with your mom before I was ever even able to break the ice with you. That feels like the way that went down.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, she trained me.
Yeah.
Self-protection.
Ice queen.
Yeah.
Wow. What, you tell me your side, your end of it. How did you experience that whole thing?
I don't know. And I wish that we still had it. And I hope I sounded smart.
Absolutely, of course you are smart. You didn't sound smart. You are smart and you delivered it as you are.
But I don't know. I think I was very young, right? And so you post something and nobody's going to read it and it has no, you know, it's not real life, you know. But then I do remember like somehow you did talk to me and you were like, this is very serious. This is blasphemy. Like, you can't take this one back. Like, you're in danger, girl, you know? And then I think sure, I immediately responded. I'm sure I did. Yeah. And then I know I heard about prayer chain and then mom just like closing rank, you know, and like, that's it. And I think she didn't like a lot of people for on my behalf because then it was the Jamie of it all. And some people were shitty about that. And like, people were saying that it was like a shotgun situation. And like, my mom was like, I don't know, cussing people on the street about that. I don't know. But like, that's all I remember. And then it was just like silence from you and me. And it was very much like, okay, good call, you know, on this church stuff, because there's got to be room to ask a question or have a feeling, you know. I don't know. Yep. You know, I'm sure you guys remember this, but from your biblical teaching, you're the best students. Like, there is no unforgivable sin, right? Except for the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. And nobody knows what the fuck that means. And I know. I'm like, why didn't I hear of this before? The way that what they say it means is that it's when you say you have had an experience with the Spirit, and then you say that it's not, that there is no God, or that it wasn't real, or it was a lie. And so it's so I mean, so that all in this stuff.
Yeah. And so I was genuinely, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you don't come back from this. You don't come back from this, you know?
Yeah.
Again, my brain, I was just telling, we have a plant in our yard called Jacob's Ladder, and it's one of my favorites. And Millie was like, what's this? I love that plant. Oh yeah, Jacob's Ladder, blah, blah. And she's like, is that the one where they built the thing? And I'm like, no, that's the Tower of Babel. And I'm telling these stories and I'm like, I cannot believe I told you these stories as literal truth. Like, I believed this is what was happening. And
Yeah.
so I have that perspective now. Obviously, I have that perspective. But at the time, I mean, it still holds true that if you were coming over to my house with your sister when you had a fight, you know, and I was like, yes, make my life relevant. If suddenly the person who's making my life relevant is having doubts too, is having these questions, is questioning their faith, is suddenly not believing, is living a life where they get to go be happy and make the choices that they want to make. Hold on, this is surely the way straight to hell, because this is the opposite of what I've been doing. Like, so I feel like what happened was, yes, I responded immediately, and I don't even remember if you then retorted at all. I don't remember. I honestly, I think your mom just shut it down. I think she was like, you will not reach out to my daughter again. And, you know, and yeah. And then at that point, yeah, you were someone I prayed for to see the light and come back. And I don't even know, how did we get away from that? Like, is it not until a couple years ago when I sent out my message to everybody or had you and I been in touch, Mary, before then?
Well, yeah, I think because I think from my perspective, on again, off again with like online friends. Like, we would be friends a little bit on the Facebook or the MySpace for a while, you know, and not necessarily because I came back to the fold, but just like, you know, I think sometimes in like fucking pointless arguments on the internet, I'd see you there and be like, hey girl. And sometimes we would come back together, and sometimes I'd be like, this bitch, you know. And I think, because I think there's always fondness. I don't know, you know, for real.
Well, I feel like of course I feel like I would imagine that my slow progression to this point probably made me seem hopefully a little safer this time. Okay, a little more. I don't know. Katie allowed me to be in her life. Whole time.
Well, like, I'm over here oblivious. Like,
is that true? Is that right? Or
yeah, like, for sure. But also
because we weren't always good. Me and Katie,
we were not.
We had some hard times at this time.
Yeah, until very recently. So it's been a journey.
Yeah.
We didn't have anybody's house to come to and work it out. So.
No, nobody would help. I think I did probably mention it at some point. I don't know if it was just you and me or if it was on the last episode, but like, you know, pretty simple and clean to like leave the fold as a angsty teen or whatever. But like, you had it in your house and like, you're married to it. Like, I don't know, like, was there any like, I don't know, are there deconstructing wives of pastors that you would like see online, or like what are the experience as a wife to me is so fascinating, you know, like, because you're supposed to really believe this stuff, you know, and believe in the person. And I don't know, I just still continue to be like, you're very brave.
Thanks. I think you're telling me I was brave.
You're brave, and I can't imagine how hard it is. You know, it's very simple to leave when you're just a grumpy teen or whatever. But I don't know. I think your story's bigger and you're braver. And I don't want us to leave without saying that, you know, because I don't know. Like, as much as like we have embarrassment of all the recruiting that we did in high school, like, I don't know if you have residual, or you know what I mean? I don't know. Just good job.
Well, thank you. I will try to just receive that. And it doesn't feel that way. Like, it feels like I'm getting to the place of being able to just do the bare minimum, you know, like, or recognize, how do I say that? You know, like, there's that phrase that everybody says, well, you know, yeah, you don't thank him for doing the bare minimum, right? Like, that's what it feels like. And I think that it probably is such a gift that I do have just a shoddy memory. Like, I think that that's probably a gift from my higher power, you know, that I have to believe, like, what I've come to believe, as if there's a God, it is this universe and the energy that we share with all living things. And I have to believe, I can hope, I don't have to believe it. I want to hope that while my actions were problematic, many of my actions and words were problematic, it is easy for me to then also label my intention as problematic or selfish or immature or uninformed or worse, whatever. But I think when I get back to the Mandy, the little girl, like, her sincere desire really was a pure one, and I have to believe that energy has been and is being used in a positive way. And I hope that the evidence of that is that I just don't remember all the really shitty shit. Like, you know, that, or it was so bad that, you know, I'm protecting myself. I haven't met a ton of pastors' wives who've deconstructed. I've met a ton of really in it Christians who have, you know, women in particular, I feel like, but not only. A lot of worship leaders, a lot of the really feelers, you know.
Yeah.
So, and as far as residuals, because of that, I think there's a lot of, like, if my big goal in life was to just make sure that everybody I ever met liked me and wanted to keep me around, I've laid that down quite a bit, because the majority of the people I've ever known or loved in my life would not approve and or do not approve or understand or have a judgment about who I am now or the things I say now. And the easy thing when you hear someone who has a story like mine to say, well, I was a Christian and now I'm not, I just don't believe, the easy thing is to say, well, you turned your focus off of God and you're looking on people, or oh, it must be because Donald Trump was voted president. Like, that did not help. But the truth is that people who had the deepest, you guys know this, I'm telling you your own story, the deepest, most sincere, profound, all-encompassing personal relationship with who we had been told was God, or what we were told was God. I mean, this is not an easy thing. And Mary, when you did that at such a young age, like, when you had that experience, you are the trailblazer. Like, that's huge. That was, I have such respect for that. And just like I have, like, but the fact that my kids are living their own lives and are out and are, I'm amazed by that. That is strength. That is bravery. That is maturity. That is wisdom. I was a scared little girl and am just now forcing myself to take opportunities to exercise even an opinion, let alone bravery, like something, you know, brave. And to be okay. The bravest thing I can do is to be okay with someone not understanding my story and judging it as whatever, evil or selfish or whatever, short-sighted, stupid, ignorant, whatever. I don't know. This was not hard. Katie, do you have more?
No, like you brought up the adoption of the babies. That was going to be my hardest thing. So
did you remember that? You remember that?
No, that's been sitting with me for a little bit. And I'm like, I don't know how to bring that up. That's not like I don't know. It was a lot.
I didn't remember that. And when she told me that, I'm like, that's pretty borderline creepy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's
but
too
I
much.
also didn't know that you were aware of this.
Yeah. If you were
that I was out and they tied my tubes, not to my knowledge, or what did you mean?
No, I didn't know that that had happened. I just in a room with someone offering to adopt my baby, you know. That was like, okay.
So he was, and you were not aware.
Yeah.
Have
you consented to the adoption of all the teen babies?
Right. It
was part of our family planning. Yeah.
Right. I didn't know if I was breaking news over here, you know.
No, you know, and in his defense, like I can remember having so many conversations at that time. Like it was abortion and it was homosexuality. And it was around this season of life that he came up with what became kind of a motto for him, which was, you're asking the wrong question. Like, is it a sin to have an abortion? Is it a sin to be gay? Whatever. And, you know, for him, he felt, and he probably, maybe to this day, I don't know, but really felt like he was able to give all of this controversy a great big hug and say, this comes down to love. And if you truly love someone, then I think he really felt like love was sort of the way around it, right? Like that's the fix. And so, you know, while we wouldn't want someone to have an abortion, a loving thing would be to be willing to give a solution to that problem. I don't know what his loving solution to homosexuality was, but like that, right. But I know that was
kiss.
Millie's twerking in the background. And so the problem is that I will say that I don't think I don't know if you guys remember this, but anytime he was delivering a sermon, like I would just cringe because his intention was always, I think, really right, but his delivery sometimes, you know, and so if he knew that the word, not that I'm here to be his defender, but I knew the heart in that regard.
Yeah.
My concern was never what maybe it should have been, and maybe I'm learning that it should have been, but I felt like everybody out there was getting the right attention and love. That wasn't what I was worried about, you know. My kids have an emotional and a social, even a political vocabulary that I didn't have, let alone what my mom had, right? And my kids have the benefit of being raised by someone now, well, not being raised by, but, you know, getting a second chance with a parent who has completely, I mean, I feel born again. Like I had a born again experience, a real one. And I don't know. I don't know what it would feel like if I had more memories than I do. And I didn't have someone to confirm or explain things. Like
Yeah.
And I wish I could have done things differently. I will absolutely affirm that we were problematic people doing problematic things in a problematic system, and we were fucked up, and we were perpetuating that. I wish I could, just in acknowledging that, I wish it made some sort of difference, and I just know that it doesn't. Like, I don't know.
No, I feel good about where we are, and like, I don't know. I would not I wouldn't trade what we experienced together, like I was thinking about Mexico today a lot, and I'm like, aside from our mother, of course, like that was our education and hard work, and you introduced us to Mexico, and I mean, we love, I don't know. I think we're not going to hold you accountable for that institution and those people in there, but like, it is good for us to talk about it and acknowledge that it's gonna be gross when you're in like a shitstorm, so.
Mm-hmm. Can it be gross when you're in a shitstorm? That's yeah. I don't even feel held accountable. I don't feel like I don't feel under the, I just wish my new perspective meant more for other people. Like, it really only impacts my own life. Like, that born again experience that I've had within me doesn't, unfortunately, ripple out into the lives of the people that I was teaching and influencing, and I wish that it did in some way. I wish that because my spirit was having a different experience, that would, that
I
in
think
some way
it does.
No.
I think it does a bit. Like, how nice that we get to be together,
Yeah.
on the other side.
That is, yeah. And then if we ever do mushrooms together,
Oh my God.
Well, I love you so much, and I think like whatever, you're gonna dodge it, but I think this is brave of you to come here and be like, anything else, like, you want to be
It's on brand.
You want to really make sure. I mean, like, I don't know that I'd be, doing that for, people I think I've harmed. I don't think I'm trying to go on multiple podcasts of people I've harmed. So I think kudos.
Wasn't hard enough. Oh.
We tried to be very hard this time.
It was. This was
hard stuff. Yeah. I I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate it, and your nice, encouraging words. When I, however many years ago, when I started my deconstruction, and I sent, a message to you guys like that, I can't explain to you the awareness. Like, I think I didn't realize that I was having a fourth step experience, like, just taking this inventory and just realizing my impact, and not in a prideful way. Like, certainly, you guys also made your own choices and had other people in your lives and all of those things, but just taking responsibility for the way. And yeah, anyway, like I said, I wish words could undo, just like I wish I could reparent my children, unparent and reparent my children in some ways. You know, I wish I could youth leader you guys. But you seem to be, you know,
Yeah.
able to work on your own journey.
Right.
Good job. Good job. And your kids are gonna
Yeah.
have so many legs up.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Good job. Good job. Do you guys think you would be open to your kids having a strong faith? Like, that's the thing, right? Like, that's always like, oh no, my kids are gonna do the opposite that I did.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think because of the 12 steps and stuff, like that's our family religion, you know,
it's great.
and that has taught me a lot of like, good for you over there. I'm going to be over here, you know.
Yeah, you're chill.
So I think I have some chill and I'll probably be okay.
And you have to, because you're fully married to a family.
I don't have to.
Well,
I
you
choose-
have to be chill, okay?
I choose to be chill.
You could be nuts, okay?
I could be nuts. Yeah.
That's true. Like me.
Goodness, there's no MySpace.
Yeah. Watch out.
Oh,
But please take good care of you, and I love you so much, and
I love
thank
you.
you for your time, and I don't know, love you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm holding my computer.
Yes.
Yeah. That's very Korean of you, okay?
I can't. If I get into it with someone.
So cute.
Thank
Thank you guys. I love you
you.
both.
Bye.